Jerry Norlander, I'm the director of the Public Utility Law Project. I have a few slides I'd like to put up. Could I get some help?
Somebody more technical than you want to do that, please?
While that's going on, I think we've been representing low-income customers.
Yeah, Jerry, you got to really project
We
with the mic.
represent low-income customers in cases at the Public Service Commission and also in matters with the utilities. And I work, obviously, from time to time takes us into conflict with the utilities and the state. Over the years, the utility project joined in a coalition many years ago before my time here to oppose the building of, I think, 11 nuclear reactors in the state. This was a bright idea in the 70s when it was all the rage.
Can I interrupt you for are people hearing Jerry?
No.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Jerry, you know, I'm going to ask you to just stand here. I think it'll help to project a little bit. And then you can also be seeing what's on the screen at the same time.
Thank you. There was a movement to introduce many nuclear reactors in the state, and it foundered in response, I think, to a grassroots opposition that was widespread. The major development, though, I think in energy planning in the last 20 years is the Public Service Commission's deals with the utilities to restructure and have the utilities divest their generation and to attempt to make generation of electricity competitive. And that has basically led to a diminution of state energy planning because the people who would implement the plan are now private actors in the private marketplace. And for the most part, with the notable exception of the Power Authority, which owns significant generation and transmission assets, and the Long Island Power Authority, which is on the direction back to privatization. But I think that one of the problems we have is that is affordability in the state. And we have here a chart based on data through 2012, statewide, not counting LIPA. And we see what happened during the Great Recession. Where customers with arrears greater than 60 days. And people owed over $1 billion in 2008, 2009. It's down into the 800 million range at the end of 2012, and still above where it was in, it's 940 million in 2012. And it's well above 200 years above where we were in 2005. This is a huge an urgent situation. The number one reason why people go to high interest borrowing and payday loans in other states and whatever it is, that they charge 25% per year for interest just to pay the utility bill.
Did you say number one reason why they go?
I believe that's the most common. There's a report out that says that what if you do with the money. And the number one, maybe 39 or 40%. It was the most frequent use of the money was for the utility bill. The next slide, please. Here we have actual terminations. We're seeing about 3% of the customers are shut off. Each year it went up to about 4% in 2008. And we see about 260,000 shut off. When people are actually shut off, that is a crisis. It is a health and safety crisis. 3 children died in the Bronx in October. A candle fire set the apartment on fire. And it was a case where the mother had gotten assistance from HRA to pay Con Ed something to put the power back on, and it was scheduled for connection the next day. And the same thing happened in 2006. And one of the things that we have in the current case is a change where the company may be doing more same-day connections. Next slide, please. Number of deferred payments, again, that's come down a bit, it's about well above 2005. Next. And with the deferred payment agreement, if the customer misses a payment, then they can be terminated. So that we go back into the termination. Uncollectibles are down. We don't quite understand the the significance of this, because it's somewhat, it's still large, it's still above where we were in 2005. Next. We got some more recent data from Con Ed in the last Ratepayers through November of 2013. And we did some analysis here, and it indicates there's an upward trend for customers with arrears greater than 60 days. Next. And again, an upward trend in the amount of arrears per customer, total, yes. And an upward trend in, that's a duplicate of the, and final termination notices going up. Notice the Sandy dip. After Sandy, they called off terminations. But it seems to have done that. There's a cyclical nature to it, and the peaks have been tended to go up and the valleys have tended to go up. Next. And active deferred payment agreements, again, the trend seems to be increasing. So I think that my point in raising this is that we have a real tension here with any solutions that are going to raise utility rates. And we need to be thinking about the significant population that lacks the savings and lacks the ability to deal with higher utility prices. The way the generation sector in New York has been set up is that we have, in theory, a bid-based dispatch of electricity, and in theory, the more efficient, lower-cost producer will reap the benefits of these daily and hourly auctions. And apparently, wind, solar, and water are not winning the auctions. It's gas that's winning the auctions. And the solutions to that, I think, are very complex. One of them would be breakthroughs in technology that would lower the costs of some of these renewables. The other thing is to get administrative or social decisions to say we're going to use less fossil resource and we're going to favor renewables, and then that will have to be paid for. And the question is, how do we pay for that? And I would suggest that we need to carry this in mind, that we can't simply say, let's just raise the rates, because it doesn't work. And we run into some problems as well with environmental communities supporting so-called smart meters, because about 20 to 25% of customers don't really have savings, and any spikes in prices and bills for people who run out of money 5 days before the end of the month is a big thing. Even $10 or another cup of coffee or cup of coffee a day, that's big money for people who are in this circumstance, and quite a few of them. So with that in mind, I think we need to be careful if we're going to have California or German-style commitments to build out the renewables. We need to have California and German-style social support for people who can't afford it. Thank you.